What up, y'all? It's your boy Luzy. And normally it's fun and games over here, but I got a different type of content coming to you. A little while ago, man, I did a study. It was about an hour-long video on the Idaho College killer, the man who killed four at Idaho University. He was a criminology student, PhD student, bright young fellow, man, but he had a serious tick in his mind. He went down for that, and my video went down as well. But now we will dive into what I see as a very important aspect of human psychology, and that is divergent, neurodivergent. This man, Chad Dorman, supposedly killed three of his sons, and he just got knocked 20 million in bonds, and he was definitely charged. So let's see what happens here.
Where's he at?
He said, shooter on the porch.
Oh, I did not know they caught this man with a gun, because that looked like a rifle, a two-hand joint. The cops not playing around at all.
Right here. You got him on the porch.
We've asked, that's the last place we've been told.
You show me your hands now! Stand up and walk towards us! Stand up now! Walk towards us! Stand up with your hands up!
That is a lot of artillery. Now, cops, they have a very tough job. This man is standing in the open. My head would be poking out from behind the vehicle. I ain't gonna lie to you. This man is standing in the open, face out, whole body out. He got the rifle out too, but shoot, man, if dude starts shooting first, he don't want to be the first to go down. I don't know if he's dumb, crazy, or brave, but he's one of the three.
We got a visual in the mail. Not showing his hands, not following commands.
Stand up now!
Still not showing hands or following command. His name is Chad Dorman. Chad Dorman.
I know, but
We gotta go.
I know, but we can't.
If people need first aid and he's not complying, you know he's a shooter, shoot him.
We got.
That rifle is beautiful. In the comments, if you know exactly what it is, please comment. And please comment if you used one. Tell me how it goes, because that joint, government approved, clearly.
Find cover first. We ain't no good if we ain't safe ourselves.
He keep walking with that split action, he gonna split them pants right open. Them pants is too damn tight for you to be engaging in a heavily armed activity.
Hey, no. We need to come from this side where we can see him. Don't take cover behind her. We see him. We're going to approach from this side. We got cover. Right here.
6 covered, 29 and 63 is type out.
We're not working right now.
Show us your fucking hands now! Stand up! Stand up!
Oh, he's sitting on the porch like ain't nothing going on. That's how you know he killed him. When people be calm and just contemplating life, after something crazy go down, you know they did it. It's like, yo, what, you a little too calm in the scene. We got rifles aimed at you. Whatever pistol that was aimed at you. You're surrounded. You're surrounded, sir. Okay, there's no problem. You did it.
Stand up! Stand up now! Stand up! Stand the fuck up!
EMS to stage and air carriers are going to go ahead and fly whenever any units can advise.
Get your hands out of here.
He ain't small either. He not complying with nothing going on. He looking like, listen, man, I already know it's my last day. It don't matter if you take me or not. I just did something crazy. I've already guilty. You don't need to go to jail. And you better not defend yourself like Daryl Brooks did, because we don't want to hear from you.
72.
October 21. It's in there.
If those guys can confirm that there's people that need first aid and that's the shooter who's not complying, they need to take care of the
I got it.
victims. If they have to shoot him, then shoot shoes out.
Man, I ain't trying to hurt nobody or nothing. I'm completely sober. Never did drugs a day
63,
in my
we're
life.
21. Get the EMS over here.
Well, I did drugs when I was little.
Oh goodness, what's behind that block? Hopefully it ain't the kid. Oh my goodness. Because he went and took a knee in front of that block. Whatever they had blocked out right now. Man, I hope that's not the kid. He just standing there over him, sitting like that. That's crazy. That's really crazy.
But I don't do drugs now. I'm sober. I'm not trying to fight you.
63.
Get your butt inside. Gatlin, get your butt inside.
We on primary?
Now.
29, we got 3 kids down.
3 kids down, 16 down.
Gatlin.
63, we're 21.
Knock
Have
it off.
EMS respond over here.
You're clear, they're being advised.
Robert 34, just started mass casualty response.
63, do you want them to respond to the Laurel Lindale address? Where exactly do you need them?
That's got to be the baby boy. Behind, that's censored out right there. That got to be the baby boy. They said he killed 3 of them. That's got to be one of them or whatever right there. But it'll come to pass.
We're right in the front yard.
He took my life from me! My life!
What are you doing, man?
Hey, are you copying all this?
Can I roll over? I ain't gonna hurt you. I ain't gonna hurt nobody.
You got anything on you?
No, I ain't got nothing, man. Phone, that's it. I ain't mad.
Hey, don't toss my phone though. Come on, dog. I might need that. Don't be tossing my phone, okay? Innocent until proven guilty.
I ain't nothing. Just make sure that dog don't come out. I don't think he'll bite you. Just don't reach for him and try to grab him and pet him.
All right.
He won't bite you.
What's going on, man?
Nothing. Can I stand up?
Nothing. Just chilling. Everything cool. Just don't pet my dog. Don't try to touch him. He won't bite you. It's all good. Come on, dog. Yo, he a psychopath, man. All right, let's see what happens.
I'm gonna come.
I'm gonna
I
get
ain't
you
gonna
here
do
in a
nothing. I ain't
second.
running away. You can do whatever you want with me.
The woman in the back crying, screaming, talking about you took my life from me. What's going on, man? Clearly had a psychotic break. You don't know what's going on. Either that's so cold and calculated what he did. He either completely disengaged from the event or he knew he was going to do it for a while and plotted and planned this out. Let's see if is it hatred for the woman? Is it hatred for the kids? Hatred for himself? We don't know. We'll dive into it. Was it an emotional thing or was it logical and Dexter-like? We'll see.
Here. You the only one else inside the house?
What?
You the only one else inside the house?
Yeah.
Sit down right here.
My daughter, she ran over to the fire department.
Sit down.
It's my stepdaughter.
Put him in the cage.
This is Will. This is Will.
They're all being advised they've requested 2 additional medics. There's also air clearance flying, but they need an LV. The medics have been yet.
Can you get the wallet out of my back pocket?
Shut up, dude.
21.
You had the right to remain silent, you fucking user.
Yes, sir.
Make the call, I'm on the mouse right now. I'm almost there. Yeah, 9 is where Chief and Captain's away.
25.
Shut your ass up, man. Straight up told you to shut up. That's crazy. That's against what the cop's supposed to say. Cop's supposed to get you talking. Told this dude, shut up. You know he's seen something crazy. What's behind that sensor? We need to know.
34%.
Hold on.
the firehouse is advising them that the male shot the entire family.
29-37.
You're clear.
Here.
Oh, what's that, a rewind? Come on now. We don't need no damn rewind. Now, supposedly he lined them up. Shot them boys execution style. Behind that sensor block was the boys laid down. We're going to dive much deeper into this one. Tragedy.
Chad Dorman, 2023 CRA 1975. This matter is before the court today for purposes of bond hearing. Mr. Count.
He looked like he hasn't slept a wink since the incident. This dude is out of his mind.
You were here on behalf of Mr. Dorman, Mr. DeCalby, Mr. Gass on behalf of the state of Ohio. Mr. Count as the bond. Go ahead, sir.
As the bond, Your Honor, he is 32 years old. He lives in Richmond, married, is employed. He indicates that his relatives, Gloria Dorman, Todd Frost, and Teeth Dorman, may act as co-signers for him. At this time, Your Honor, we would submit to the court that a bond of $75,000 with order conditions would be appropriate. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. DeCalby.
Judge, Mark.
Am I tripping or did he blink once in like 2 minutes? That man's eyes is bloodshot, looking straight at one point. Hopefully they judge, because I would be terrified. This man clearly has a heavy personality disorder, maybe schizophrenia. I'm not going to diagnose this man, but he's got super issues. And it seems like it was a regular day, just one day. And I need to hear the details of what happened that day. This is ridiculous.
Claremont County Prosecutor on behalf of the state. At this point, I'm going to let Mr. Gast handle the bond on our behalf. Morning, Judge.
Good morning.
Judge, we've got law enforcement with us here today. Our office has been involved. Lots of people from our office have been involved with law enforcement throughout yesterday, afternoon, evening, all the way through this morning. And the facts I have for you at this point are as follows. The trauma that this man has inflicted on his family, the community, law enforcement, first responders, and all of the rest of us who have any idea what's going on here is unspeakable. There's been a full admission in this case, Judge. The case is still new. We're still discovering facts. But the evil horror of what we know is impossible to process. In an act of just incomprehensible cruelty, the father that stands before you lined up his 3 young boys, and he executed them in his own home with a rifle. They were ages 3, 4, and 7, Judge.
Come on, dog. Where does that come from? Like, how does that shift? Now, we'll have to go dive deep, and I plan on doing it. Whatever material comes out on this, I'd like to dive deep into the history of his life before, his history of his life when he met the mother of the children, going into the relationship, everything up to that day, into the marriage. I believe he's married. 3, 4, and 7, to commit an unspeakable act such as that just personifies the hatred that you have for the mother of the children, for the children. I believe because at that age 7, man, you're immaculate. I mean, you don't do anything that's not natural to you. You know, some kids are bad kids, but they're kids. So I believe that this act of hatred wasn't about anything the kids did. It's probably taken out on the mother and his life up to that point. But to do it that way is just unthinkable. Maybe this man has been through unthinkable tragedies as well, but at that point, we need to reach for salvation. If you have a hatred for humanity, man, you reach to save it. Like some of the geniuses did, like Martin Luther King did, like Gandhi did, like even a Steve Jobs, who came out with a piece of technology that changed humanity moving forward. Someone like Elon Musk, who wants to be able to cultivate resources on another planet because maybe this planet doesn't have enough. You don't take your hatred out in a negative way. You don't take your energy out in a negative way. There are plenty of constructive ways you could do this. You can fight for your children to be in a better position than you were. But we do irrational things because of our emotions. Our emotions run wild. They make us do crazy things. If you practice meditation, you practice going into yourself, sometimes you can handle it. You can calm that inner voice. But to be honest, I wouldn't say calm it. It's going to be there no matter what, regardless. And your body's going to want to move and be impulsive and do the things it wants to do. Your mind has to be calm enough to be able to accept everything that comes to you and to reject the things that are crazy.
In an act of desperation to save her children, the mother at some point grabbed the gun the father was wielding to attempt to protect them. We know that one of the boys was able to flee into a field near the home. And again, we know from his admission, father hunted that boy down, drug him back to the property, and executed him in front of witnesses. The mother was shot through the hand in her attempt to protect her children.
Don't cry now. He wanted that mom to go through that, to witness that. That's why he did it. Yeah. I could be wrong, but I ain't. He did that for the mom. You know what I mean? So we need to dive into these relationship dynamics. We got to get into that. Because there's no way the children did anything to deserve that. He wanted to make an example. He wanted to show how he felt. And that's what people do when their emotions are too big for words. They resort to actions. Now, he's way into the stratosphere of disgusting, manipulative, filthy human being. But we need to know the motive.
Judge, I asked the court in setting this bond to just begin to imagine their fear. This was the man that every day they woke up looking to for protection, love, guidance in all things. The man they trust more than any other person on earth. The person they rely upon to keep them safe from harm. He was their world. He was their guardian.
This is not an exit. And those are genuine tears. Imagine being in a place, in a hole. I was locked up for a month. I was like, I can't do it. It felt like a year and a half in that joint. Imagine sitting for 50 years. All that happens when you're in jail, you just replay the moment that got you locked up and then what you would have done. And you think about the people you love and what they're doing right now. So imagine 40, 50 years sitting and thinking about that. They might put them on death row. Death row is still like 10, 15, 20 years sometimes. But imagine sitting for years just thinking about lining up your children. It's crazy.
And he executed them in cold blood. We know that from his admission. By that same admission, Judge, he has committed one of the most monstrous, craven, cowardly acts that ever we are misfortunate to see. To make things even more disturbing, Judge, this was no haphazard act. Again, by his own admission, he planned the events of this day. This did not happen on a whim. He's confessed to what I believe is the worst crime, at least I hope, that I'll see in my lifetime. I hope it's the worst fact pattern that ever comes before this court. Judge, it's important for the court to know, and the bond we're going to request today, for the court to understand Claremont County deputies Monroe Township Fire and EMS and other first responders bravely respond to the scene where they don't know what's going on. They did not know what they're facing, and they come into
It's just interesting to me because humans are so infinitely complicated. That joint is like so many facets. And the human brain is just so demanding, draining, but at the same time, it can give life and promote life and send energy and create. Do you see a person who does such a monstrous and terrible act stand up there and weep? You see he has such lifeless eyes. But then again, they're sorrowful at the acts that he couldn't control himself for committing. We are a walking paradox, man. We are. And I struggle to understand people, but we can get there step by step.
a scene that no one can ever be prepared for. No law enforcement training, no training of any kind prepares you for this. It's easy to forget that these are men and women with families, children, feelings, emotions. They're not some automaton performing a delegated function. They're people. They were required to give CPR to gunshot children, 3, 4, and 7-year-old children. They held these boys in their arms, knowing there was nothing they could do to save them. How long do those scars last? What day do you wake up from that and you're healed? How do you unsee such an abomination? The bond factors this court needs to consider today are set forth in Criminal Rule 46, nature and circumstance of the crime charged, and specifically whether the defendant used or had access to a weapon, including the seriousness of the offense. It's the most serious offense that we have on the books, Judge. This is it. You can't commit a more serious offense. So the nature of the crime charge is the worst crime that can be charged. Did he have access to a weapon? Yes, obviously he did. The weight of the evidence against the defendant at this point, Judge, we stand here with a full admission of the defendant. That also goes to the confirmation of the defendant's identity, and witnesses on scene did see at least part of what happened.
So, $20 million bond, you ain't getting out. Just $2 million you'd have to pay. You got to pay 10% of the bond to see the light of day. You ain't getting out. Killed the kids in front of the family. But I'd like to hear that admission. So I'm going to search for that. I'm going to gather any evidence we can find. It's your boy Luz. I can't find the confessional, but we'll see what the neighbors got to say.
I'm shocked, to be honest with you. We moved here 6 years ago, and the place is great, and you know, New Richmond's coming up, and you just hate to see anything like this anywhere.
All of a sudden I hear boom, boom, and at like 5 more, I'm like, that's 7 shots. That's shots. Like, there's no way. So I was freaking out like this before I got ready and everything, and I don't know, man. Before that, I saw 2 cars right here on this street zoom as fast as humanly possible. It was like something's going down.
I spoke to another neighbor who actually lives on Laurel-Lindale Road where this shooting happened. He says this is a type of tight-knit community where everyone knows their neighbors, and so he believes he knows this family, and so he was just devastated. Again, so many people just still processing this horrific tragedy.
You don't know them. You don't know these folks, man. Clearly, his family had no idea even who he was. His sons did not know this man was capable of that. They would have kept that man at arm's length. The mother had no idea this man was capable of that. But there is no cap to human potential, and that's in a negative and a positive, clearly.
48 hours after a father confesses to murdering his 3 sons, we are hearing from Chad Dorman's father tonight. A judge set Chad Dorman's bond at $20 million, which is the highest bond ever set by prosecutors. Chad's father, Keith, spoke to me on the phone tonight, who says he is angry at his son, but at the same time is defending his son's character and feels something bad happened to him.
That one thing about parents, it don't matter what happens. Every single case I've ever seen, no matter how heinous, the Chris Watts, I didn't really hear anything about the Derrick Brooks, but every case you hear that them parents step up, like, listen, something had to have happened. This dude, he ain't that crazy. So the parents, you better cherish your parents.
They won't let you talk to your son?
Keith Dorman, now living in Florida, said he came back to Ohio Thursday night after he found out what happened that day on Laurel Lindale Road in Monroe Township, but said he's not allowed to talk to his son. Chad Dorman confessed to shooting and killing his 3 sons execution style. Chad's father tells us this is completely out of character for Chad, saying his son isn't violent. I don't know what went on in his personal life. It's a shocker to us we didn't see it coming. He just snapped. I could tell in his eyes he's hollow inside. That wasn't Chad standing at the arraignment. I mean, that was not him. Contrary to what the elder Dorman said, this is what Assistant Clermont County Prosecutor David Gast said in court Friday.
We know that one of the boys was able to flee into a field near the home. And again, we know from his admission, father hunted that boy down, drug him back to the property, and executed him in front of witnesses.
On Friday, we found out prosecutors charged Chad Dorman with domestic violence in 2010 for allegedly choking his father, but authorities dropped the charge. Keith Dorman told me he can't figure out why his son would have done this. A lot of stuff out there that could make you flip, and I don't think there's enough research on that, alluding to the possibility his son Chad could be suffering from mental illness, but also said, I don't know if it was financial, I don't know if it was marital, I don't know if it's work-related. I don't know. Keith defended his son, saying he was a good kid and a good father, but said, I don't want nobody to badmouth him because this is a terrible thing he did, and I'm angry at him for it, but there's something deeper inside. That's all it is.
I hate when the interview people try to imitate the voice, and just say it in your own voice. I don't want nobody to try to, come on, man. But yeah, though. And it gets to a ridiculous point. Just the fact that people have sides to them. Many-sided. And he can go and snap like that. Drag that boy back to the property. It's just disgusting. It's unthinkable. The father should have gotten an idea that the son had something going on, something in his brain, when he wrapped them hands around his neck. That's when you should have told him to get mental help. Maybe had he gotten mental help then, things could have been prevented. You ain't about to wrap your hands around my neck and then we all cool, everything is all right. You would have learned at that point. You would have had something. So yes, man, people change, people snap, as they say, and people go through their differences. Some people hide it better than others. I'd rather be with someone who wears their emotion on their sleeves, even though that has its problems, than someone who bottles things up to the point where you snap and you do something creatively awful. That's something that took thought and plotting. That's not just something you do, and it took effort. Because like they said, that the third son ran into the woods and you go get him. And so see these things could have been avoided, I believe, once you see certain tics in people and certain rage that somebody is holding inside, twitches that they have. You could tell that they're really hiding how they feel about a certain situation or really affected by a situation, and they're tamping it down. Everyone says this man's a great father, he's a great person, but what sends him to that place over the edge? And I don't doubt he did a great job, because so many people acknowledge that. Well, really just his father, and then how surprised the mother was, the mother of the children. But there's got to be a way that we can identify people before this takes place, like I say, all the world's a stage. And people can't act 100% of the time. So there's things that we can identify, that there may be danger on the horizon or maybe a psychological break. Once again, it's your boy Lucy. We're going to do more research on this.